Ms. Goldberg, is an absolute honor to speak with you.
Jake.
Yes, ma'am.
Just Whoopi.
Whoopi.
Okay.
It's an honor to meet you, Whoopi. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
I'm going to jump into this because I have 1,000 questions for you. Mrs. Till's decision to have the open casket funeral and to allow her son's body to be photographed was such a watershed moment in regards to civil rights because it forced people to really see what was happening. So I'm sort of curious, to what degree are movies like this, or even Ghost of Mississippi, important in a similar fashion in that they may not be easy to look at, but people need to see these things and that they've happened?
Well, in a world where facts don't really mean much, it's really important because these are the things that happened. These are the things that happened in America that you should know about, so that when someone says, this is how I feel, you have a better understanding of why they may feel the way they do. This is for us and for everybody, for women, for men, for gay folks, for straight folks, white folks, black folks, Asian folks. This is all about us. This is one of these us moments, and that's what this movie is. This movie is an us movie because this happened 67 years ago, which is, in my mind, just a snap, and people continue to behave in this manner that is slowly dragging us back towards systemic racism and blatant systemic racism, where you can get away with doing all kinds of stuff, which is what you see in the film, and that's why it happens. And if the film bothers you when you see it, when you see what that brings forth, then we all have to get together and make sure it doesn't happen again, and make sure the people who are making the decisions understand we're not kidding. We're serious, that this is not okay. It's not okay for women. It's not okay for gay folks. It's not okay for Asian people, Greek people, white. It's not okay for anybody. We cannot allow it for anybody. And to tell the people that like to practice it, quit it, because we will put you in jail.
There's been some really interesting discussion and even a little bit of discourse over the last 35 years or so as to whether or not Steven Spielberg, as a white man, was the right director for The Color Purple. And even he's questioned whether or not he was ready for a film like that at that point in his career. I've always been curious as to your thoughts on that today. And as an extension of that, if it was important that a black director step behind the camera for this film.
I think if a black director wanted to do the movie Color Purple, they had the opportunity. Quincy was standing right there. So if people are pissed off that he did it, they should have stepped up. I've said that from the giddy up. I think filmmakers make the films they're supposed to make. And I think he was supposed to make that film. That's just me. It worked well for me, his making that film. I think that this film needed a woman, and it was great that it was a black woman. But I think that's what you needed for this, because this was a mother-son story. And men are wonderful. I like them very much. But I think sometimes men need to let women tell the stories about relationships, because we just do it differently.
There's such a tenderness to this movie. You're absolutely right. That is told through that. I hope you don't mind me asking this question, but just a few weeks ago, a grand jury declined to indict Carolyn Bryant for her role in the murder of Emmett Till. And I'm just curious as to your thoughts on that decision.
I'm very sorry that they made that decision, because as far as I'm concerned, she should have to at least answer the questions. But, this is from that school of, no, we got you. We're not going to do anything. We all know what you did. We know what she did, because it led to the death of this young man. Now, for them not to say, listen, we're not going to put you in jail, but you have to sit in front of a grand jury and answer the questions. The fact that they won't allow that tells me they also know what she did. That's my opinion.
Fair enough. here in Chicago, it goes without saying, this is a story that is deeply personal for all of us here. But the way that it's told, I hope that it affects everyone outside of the city of Chicago in the way that I know it's going to affect everyone here. So I cannot thank you enough for your time and for just making this movie possible in the first place. Really, it's an absolute honor. I appreciate you, Whoopi. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.